So next, I'd really like to introduce a wonderful member of our team. Her name is Crystal Van Meter, and she's got double skills. She's a registered dietitian, and she also is an exercise specialist. And I've really enjoyed working with her, and I'm sure you'll enjoy what she has to share with you. So I'll turn it over to Crystal, and you can introduce yourself, Crystal, and we'll go from there.
Great. Well, thank you, Dr. Ross, and hi, everybody. So I am a eating disorder dietitian in Nashville, Tennessee, but I also specialize in the exercise disorders because I really saw a need for the exercise component to people struggling with eating behaviors and lifestyle changes. And so part of what I love about that is guiding my clients to find their inner motivation and showing them that it's not just about their weight or the way their body looks, but it is about finding that internal motivation, just like everyone was saying on this webinar. So what I'd like to show you right now is how you can understand how to discover your authentic body. And what I mean by that is we're not all meant to fit in a cookie cutter body shape or even have a cookie cutter exercise program or nutrition plan. And a lot of times we're comparing and doing those types of plans and looking at what our friends are doing and our sister's husband's friends are doing. And so I hope that you stick with me, and at the end of the webinar, we'll be able to show you how to get started. So this might be familiar to you. Well, this may be familiar to you. You may notice that your chronic dieting may be negatively affecting your emotional, physical, and mental state, and maybe even negatively impacting your body image. You may have some confusion about nutrition information and facts, and kind of the food rules and things are kind of all bleeding together. And then also you may notice that body image satisfaction is non-existent at this point and kind of unsure of how to regain that back. And so we know that having the knowledge and the correct information really helps your body, really helps you understand how your body is working and what your body needs so that you can reconnect your mind and your body. But also learning how to trust your body again, because at this point you may think that your body is trying to work against you. In reality, your body may not be trusting you either. And that's because it may have been spent years being deprived of nutrition from being on different diets, and it may not really understand that when its next meal is coming or if it's going to get fed. So it's also a two-way street with your body learning how to trust you again as well. And so not having this knowledge to feed your body, mind, and soul, you'll continue on the diet cycle. You may not be able to find the fullest potential that your body can have. And then also you may find yourself just constantly searching for answers and finding yourself back on that diet cycle. So why this is important, and Courtney touched on this as well, is that it's diminishing the fear of food and the food rules, which is really what chronic dieting has really set yourself up for. It's also just relearning having self-compassion and self-love and forgiveness as well. And then also work with your body instead of against it. Because like I said, it is a two-way street. So you do have to reconnect at the same time. And then knowing that your body is not the enemy, and that it's important because this is about quality of life and lifelong habits. So let's talk about weight loss is your primary motivation for exercise, we know that when this is the case, most likely the exercise habits are not going to last long. The reason is because now it becomes about counting calories. It might be about we only exercise on machines that help us count calories, or that you have a watch that's counting every calorie you burn 24 hours a day. We may also avoid exercise around people who we perceive as being more fit than us. And then we also exercise after we eat meals that are higher in calories. So exercise is giving you permission to eat as well. And so the main reason for exercise, as Dr. Michelle May says, is that exercise is for health and vitality. And I want to invite you to look at how you perceive exercise in your life. Is it about health and vitality, or is it about weight loss and part of our diet regimen? Because exercise, like she's saying, is not for earning the right to eat, but to thrive and to live a full life. And so intuitive exercise is finding your intrinsic motivation, or your internal motivation to continue your exercise throughout your lifetime. And so we're trying to step away from exercise just being about weight loss and incorporating more positive benefits as well, such as maybe reducing anxiety, improving your sleep, improving cognitive function, giving you energy, and maybe, spending more time with your kids, being on the ground and rolling around with them too. So if you look at this list and you find some things that could help spark that motivation inside, that can help you stay with a good exercise program. So I do want to share another success story from one of our Denver participants. It says, Dr. Ross's program was so much more than I expected. It was gently revealing of the emotions behind the eating behaviors and gives tools to help overcome them. It is simple but not easy if you really commit to do the work. It can be scary at times to face long forgotten feelings. It is so worth it to become a whole person, not controlled by weight and food. And just like the other success stories, this participant really has that freedom and really realizing what it means to be a whole person. I just having that motivation is what I really love to see in our clients, and how it's infectious and can be shared with others too.
Thank you so much, Crystal. That was wonderful. And I do have a couple questions for you too from listeners. That maybe some of the people who are listening now will relate to these questions. The first one is, I'd like to ask this kind of a similar question to what I asked about food, which is, I have just as many people who come to me and say, like I said before, I love food. And then I have as people who are saying, I hate exercise. So when you hear one of your clients come to you and says, I just hate exercise, I just don't have the right body for it, or I was told that I'm not athletic as a child. How do you handle that?
Yes, that's a great question, and one I hear all the time. And what I always ask is, what has been your experience with exercise, and where does the negativity come from? And that's usually very revealing, because a lot of clients too think that it's part of being lazy as well. But in reality, it's really, there's something contributing to not wanting to exercise that we can certainly work on. And it might be that you haven't found the right exercise that works for you, and maybe that we just need to explore other options and put you in an environment that you feel supported and it's a positive experience.
There also, don't you think, may be emotional blocks from past experiences that people
Absolutely.
they may even have forgotten about,
That's exactly right. And that's why it's important to explore your history with exercise, because it might have been something that you've totally forgotten about, but just something that you've held on to and have that belief that exercise is unpleasant and bad.
So my last question is, what does it really mean to discover your authentic body? What does that mean for you?
An authentic body, to me, it's embracing our genetics. It's embracing how our bodies are naturally wanting to be by incorporating balanced nutrition, of course, but with the exercise part, it's also exercising in a way that you feel empowered. It's not, like I said in the beginning, exercise is not cookie cutter, and not every program is right for you. And so an authentic body is, again, just finding what works for you, not what works for somebody else, and who has different genetics and all those things. This is about finding what works for you and how to make it a positive experience that you can use for the rest of your life.
Thank you so much, Crystal. That was really enlightening. And we're here at another fork in the road, and I know a lot of people are considering, what do I want to do with my life? What kinds of changes do I want to make? And your presentation really helped to shed a lot of light on what could be possible in terms of your relationship with your body. So before we leave this, I'd really like to ask you if you have any last minute words at this fork in the road.
Yeah, so I think I'm not sure what compelled you to watch this webinar today, but it certainly must have been important. And so to take the time to go through this, I hope that there were some things that you were able to identify with. And my hope is that the team that we have really provides that support and expertise that we seek on the internet and through different diets and our friends and nutrition and other experts or people that claim to be experts. So I just want to encourage you to really look hard at, what brought you here today, and that we can really be that support for you.
Thank you so much, Crystal. It's really a pleasure to continue to work with you and with all of the members of the Anchor team. So we're now at the final fork in the road, and Lao Tzu says, a journey of 1,000 miles begins with just one step. So I'm hoping that throughout this webinar, you've been taking notes, you've been learning a lot, you've been gaining some insights, maybe things that were not aware of, or things that didn't occur to you about the problems you've been having with food and with your body. So at this point, as we've said through the webinar, it's really decision time. You've gotten a lot of great information, and you probably have had some good information in the past too, and yet here we are. So you can try to do this on your own again, but just as all of us are saying, we know, and I think you know too, that it's really difficult to make these kinds of important changes all by yourself. I want to come back to asking you to look on your list of the things that you love that are last on your list. Just take a moment to look at those and any other notes that you made about what you've been learning tonight, and ask yourself whether you want to keep things as they are, whether you're okay with having the things you love last on your list. And if not, then this is truly the decision time for you. And I know it's difficult to make these kinds of decisions. It's very, very difficult, and it's hard to trust and hard to have hope that something can change for you. And all I can say again is that you have a team of experts here to support you and who want to work with you. And we really, really want to make it easy for you. So I'm going to make it even easier. If you're still on the fence, I want to give you a gift. You know, I've written a number of books, and I'd like to offer you the ebook of my emotional eating workbook. I've had so many people email me and write me about that book and how much it's helped them. So I know it can help you too. Obviously, you know, this is only something we're doing for people who are listening to the webinar. But more than anything, I just want you to feel as if you're ready to kind of move forward and to step into this, you know, this next phase of your life. As Crystal said, I don't know why you came to see the webinar. I don't know why you're here. I know that I work with a lot of people just like you, and I know how emotional it can be to even consider to look deeper than just, okay, the next diet or the next fad, this or that or the other, or the next fast that you've been recommended to by a celebrity. I know that's difficult. So I think all of us have expressed our desire of wanting to work with you. And I just want you to imagine for a moment, if you are sitting in a rocking chair and you're 92 years old and you're looking back at your life and you remember this moment, just ask yourself, will you regret not doing something important like making these changes? So if you're ready to make the change, click on the link that you see and you can see what's available. And if you're still here, I want to also just go through what we have put together for you. This is all for your benefit. We have 10 weeks where you will have information that's every bit as insightful and important as the kind of information you've heard tonight. As you can see, there's a price value next to all of the things we've put together, but we're slashing that price for you tonight because we really do want to see you achieve your goals. You will have those 10 modules. You can use them at home. You'll have videos that we've created to enlarge on those modules and to help you understand them more. You'll be a part of an exclusive Facebook group, and that Facebook group for the Anchor program is where you will be able to interact with the Anchor program experts, myself, Courtney, Crystal, and the other members of the program, some of whom are on maternity leave, but they'll be back. You'll be able to interact with them directly through that Facebook group, which is really amazing. And it's an amazing opportunity to be able to ask questions, to make comments, you know, to just share your insights and be part of a community where you can feel safe to talk about the things that matter to you. We also are offering a weekly group that will be live and online, so you can access that group from the comfort of your own home. And in that group, we'll be talking in more detail about just the kind of things we talked about on the webinar. And you'll also get a copy of another one of my books. So now you'll have two of my books. So this is a $2,500 value, but for the purpose of the webinar and because of our desire and our passion for working with people just like you, we want to offer this 10-week program for just $9.97. So if you're still there and you want to do that, right now we're offering the program. You can click on the link. Again, this is only available for those of you who made it through to the end of the webinar and listening to the webinar. Because you want this, because you already know what's true for you, please go ahead and make the right decision for you. I want to thank you again for being with us, and I want to thank all of the Anchor program experts who've taken time to share their knowledge, their wisdom, and their expertise. And I look forward to seeing you inside the Anchor program.